Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We'll just give it one more minute to allow participants to enter the virtual room. Thanks so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited that our STEM Scholars meeting is just a few weeks away, and we're looking forward to seeing you all in San Diego. Thank you again so much for volunteering your time and effort to support scholars at this year's meeting and support their engagement by serving as a meeting mentor. This information session today is specifically to help you as meeting mentors get a better understanding of the activities of the meeting, potential roles that we'll be assigning you to, and to answer your questions so that you can feel prepared and you can also help your scholars feel very prepared and supported in joining us in San Diego. So thank you again. Next slide, please. As you come into the webinar, please feel free to say hi, introduce yourself in the chat, say which STEM award or program you're representing, and your institution if you'd like. And just as a nice bigger question, what about the STEM Scholars meeting this year are you most excited about? It's been so great to have already had calls with many of you in certain roles that we've assigned and to be able to talk with you and connect with you. So thank you again for joining us in those prior calls and also for this call today. In the interest of time, please continue to introduce yourself in the chat, but we'll move forward. So while you're introducing yourself, I would like to introduce us and our team. My name is Tara King. I'm the Center Coordinator for the STEM Rec, and I'm so happy that you're joining us and helping us to facilitate this fantastic meeting that we're hosting this year in San Diego. I'd like to introduce the other members of my team who are on the call so that you can put faces to names that you've probably seen through emails very often. So I'll start with my colleague, Jamila.
Hi everyone, Jamila Blake is she, her. I'm a project manager here at AAAS and really excited to be able to interact with all of you in person in San Diego. I'll go ahead and pass things over to Rachel.
Thanks, Jamila. Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel Stivers. I'm also a project manager here at AAAS. I'm super excited to see you all in person. I've seen so many names over email, so it's great to see your face today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. Janice, I'll pass it over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Janice Lim. I'm the event operations manager at AAAS, and I've now probably communicated with majority of you too, same as my other colleagues, and we're looking forward to seeing you all in a couple weeks. And I believe Erica is on the line, so I'll pass it on to her.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Erica Wood, the Event Operations Coordinator here at AAAS, and we want to say thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to having you.
Thanks, Elle. We are a relatively small but mighty team to accomplish this wonderful meeting that the REC hosts every year. And this is our third meeting. Our first meeting was in DC. Our meeting last year was a joint meeting with the PIs in Chicago. And so happy to be in San Diego to host the scholars this year. So let me start with just providing a brief overview of what we'll be talking about today. I'll be going through some housekeeping, and we've been doing introductions and session objectives. But after that, we are going to give an overview and highlights of our meeting agenda, talk about the meeting mentor roles that we are asking you to serve in, reminding you about the meeting app and using that. Also covering a lot of logistics such as travel, lodging, reimbursements that often there are a lot of questions around. So we will definitely leave time for Q&A at the end, but at any time, feel free to ask questions in the chat and our team are monitoring those questions. So we'll be sure to answer those questions you put in the chat as well as any other questions that come up during the Q&A session. Next slide, please. So please keep your microphone on mute when you're not speaking, but when we get to the Q&A section and you want to give voice to your question, just use the raise your hand button and we can call on you to unmute. However, at any time, please enter your questions in the chat. If you would like to, please put your camera on. It's always great to see your friendly faces. Closed captioning is enabled. Please click on the CC icon in the meeting control bar at the bottom of your screen. Also, today we have joining us 2 ASL interpreters. We want to thank all of our closed captioning and ASL team that to help us to make the meeting much more accessible. Today's slides are already posted on our website, and I'm sure we'll put that link in the chat. So if you would like to follow along with the slides, you may do so. There are many, many links that are clickable within the slides, so that's very helpful. We will also have a recording of today's session posted on our event website when it becomes available. Please contact Rachel at rstivers@AAS.org or directly through the Zoom chat if you run into any technology issues. And we also will have a very quick 1-question survey at the end of this session. Please, we value your feedback. Please provide us with your feedback. It helps us improve our offerings. Thanks so much. Next slide. Many of you know what the REC is at this point. We thank you for your engagement in our activities. But just a brief reminder, the REC is hosted by AAAS. We received an award from the National Science Foundation in October 2022 to start the REC and implement the REC. The REC is a resource and evaluation center, so we mainly serve to support the NSF portfolio at large. That includes PIs, program staff, scholars, and we also build capacity of the portfolio itself by collecting data from you all to analyze the outcomes of your very successful programs and to promote your programs. So thank you for your continued engagement with us as we help to strengthen the STEM portfolio. And we're always working to help you and your scholars. And thank you again for providing your data and really appreciate your engagement. Next slide. With that, wanted to make you aware of 2 upcoming events. One is specifically for PIs and program staff on integrative approaches to identifying STEM scholars. We know this is a very important topic for implementing STEM programs. So that's actually happening tomorrow at 2 p.m. My staff will put the registration link in the chat, but here you'll hear from representatives from 2 STEM programs talking about ways that they've worked with colleagues on campus across different units to better identify STEM scholars in their selection process. Then next week, September 22nd, we're really happy to have a facilitator from the UC San Diego Career Center presenting a workshop to help prepare STEM scholars for the upcoming scholars meeting by talking about how to hone your networking skills for professional events. This will be particularly helpful for scholars to engage in the career and education fairs, as well as just to build the confidence to network and engage with one another and other faculty and staff that they meet at the meeting. So please encourage your scholars to attend this session if they can. I think it's going to be really great, and scholars will find it really helpful for building their confidence just prior to attending our meeting on October 2nd. Next slide. So one of the major activities that the REC does every year is an annual scholars meeting. As I mentioned, this is our 3rd scholars meeting. We're so happy to be in San Diego, excited to be to be there at the Manchester Grand Hyatt this year. I'm happy to let you know, because I get this question a lot, will there be another PI meeting again? We're happy to let you know that next year we will have a joint PI and scholars meeting. So please stay tuned for that information. Next slide, please. So focusing on this year's meeting, since it is a scholars meeting, the only PI and faculty and program staff in attendance are those who are serving as meeting mentors. So that's you all. Thank you so much for serving. We are going to be asking for your help to carry out specific activities and helping with the organization and flow of our meeting. So thank you so much for volunteering in advance. These are the different roles that we have assigned meeting mentors to. So this year we have, I would say, 1,130 scholars and about 110 meeting mentors, just so you get an idea. So what we've done is assigned one task pretty much to each one of you. And these roles include serving as a Genius Bar facilitator, helping with facilitating a networking event, helping us with flow of lines and wayfinding, and also helping with a closing session that's going to be new this year that I'll talk a bit about later. And also those of you who have submitted and been selected to facilitate workshops, thank you very much in advance. Let's go through and talk about these. If you've been selected to participate in as a Genius Bar facilitator or as a networking event facilitator, or if your workshop has been selected, we have been hosting, as you know, prep calls with those groups to help you get you up to speed and provide you with information. If you haven't been selected for one of those things, we haven't yet had a prep call for you, so we wanted to host this session today to make sure everybody is knowledgeable and can ask their questions about the meeting. Those types of roles are like the headshot support, the extra hand support in the workshops. So don't fret. Next week, we're going to be sending an email with information to each one of you, which will again go over what your assignment is, important details about the day, the time, the location, your point of contact, and you'll also have resources and handy information to help you facilitate that aspect that you've been assigned to. So next slide, please. First, I wanted to go over some of the highlights of our agenda this year. Similar to previous years, we will be offering professional headshots. However, new this year, we have the option for scholars to sign up for time slots. We found in the past that this has been so popular and lines have gotten pretty long, so we want to help control that. With that, some scholars have signed up. Just a heads up, our slots for sign up are limited. So if your scholars are interested in this and haven't yet done so, please encourage them to sign up through an email that we recently sent with this sign up link. They can sign up I would say through the end of this week, because probably really going to fill up. If a scholar is interested in a headshot that hasn't yet signed up, don't worry, we will have spots for walk-ups. But we just wanted to make sure that those who wanted to sign up, definitely get their headshot taken. For those of you who are assigning help with this, you will be helping with the flow in the organization of these lines and just facilitating like smooth directions to make it flow easily and quicker so that all of the scholars who want a headshot can get it done. The headshots will take place during multiple times throughout the meeting. So this is just at first in the beginning, one opportunity. The meeting will open with a scholar orientation, and I want to also give information that we understand that sometimes flights are delayed or flights arrive late. It's okay. A lot of times scholars end up freaking out like they're going to miss the scholars orientation. It's okay. Tell them it's all right. This really is just a session to provide scholars with information, tips for engaging in the meeting, what to expect. It also gives them an opportunity to mix and mingle with each other, but it's very more of an informal session, and it's okay if a scholar isn't able to make it there in time or for the whole session. Our first round of concurrent workshops will happen after that. We will have 3 rounds of concurrent workshops this year, and these are workshops that scholars can decide to attend on the spot. All of the information for the workshops will be available in the Whova app, so we will encourage scholars to check out the workshop titles and descriptions and plan to pick out the ones that we'd like to attend to at certain times. Our formal opening to the meeting will happen with our opening plenary and dinner. This year, we're really excited to feature Sabrina Gonzalez Pastursky from the Perimeter Institute, who is an amazing theoretical physicist and has achieved so much at a very young age. She's going to be talking about both her fascinating work as well as her journey, her career journey, and how she's gotten to where she is today and some of the major lessons and advice she's learned along the way. It's going to be really inspiring, and we're really happy that she's joining us. Following that will be our first of 2 sessions where we have concurrent poster sessions, as well as the Scholar Career and Education Fair. In this will be one room where we have scholars presenting their posters, as well as exhibitors participating in the Career and Education Fair at booths at tables. This will be a great space for scholars to network, and also for meeting mentors to network and talk and interact with scholars and with each other. During this time, we will also have our Genius Bar. So for those facilitating the Genius Bar, we will assign you time slots for you to be staffing the Genius Bar at that time. The Genius Bar is sort of like an Ask Me Anything desk. Scholars can go to ask geniuses or Genius Bar facilitators questions about academics, about career, professional development, just anything that they feel that's on their mind that they want to seek a friendly, knowledgeable face about. We also have signups for this as well. So again, 2 lines where we have a sign up and those that are walk-ups. This has been a really great feature, and scholars have enjoyed the Genius Bar. So we're so happy to be able to offer it this year and expand this opportunity for scholars. And next day. So the start of our second day, we open with a student opportunities panel. In this panel, scholars become aware of internships, research opportunities, other programs they might be interested in applying to. We have representatives give short talks about these opportunities, and we provide resources where they can find more information. A breakfast, this will be a buffet breakfast that will be available for scholars at the same time. This is a great session. Following that, we break out into our second round of concurrent workshops. And just a note that professional headshots will also be taking place after the workshops, overlapping with our career and education fair and our poster session, which is our second opportunity for these things. Again, the Genius Bar will be featured during this session as well. New this year, we're offering a disciplinary networking event. This came through feedback of scholars expressing that they wanted to meet more individuals from different campuses who shared their STEM discipline interests. So we are providing spaces where rooms will be labeled by major STEM categories, including engineering, life science, physical science, social science. So they'll be grouped in large discipline areas, and scholars will have the ability to choose one of those rooms to go to. And we have some meeting mentors who we've been having prep calls with, who will be helping to facilitate those speed networking sessions. We're really excited about this. We hope that scholars find it beneficial for them to help them meet other people. And next slide. So after the disciplinary networking, that's when we provide opportunity for attendees to explore the city and have dinner on their own. But we do want to note that we have, especially for meeting mentors, and a session we're calling invite only, where we're allowing the opportunity for meeting mentors to interact with one another, mix and mingle, as well as learn about a mentoring initiative for STEM programs. That's a pretty new initiative, but it's been growing, and we want to provide that opportunity for those who are interested in becoming more involved in this initiative to do so. This is where more experienced STEM PIs are able to become mentors and supports for those who are newer PIs. We're really excited about that. We're cooperating with the Brain Observatory, which is not that far from the hotel. And there's an opportunity for scholars if they'd like to come visit that facility. We'll provide more details about that later on. Next slide. So our last day, we open with another breakfast buffet and plenary. This panel is a very popular panel we have had in the past with, we feature different individuals on the panel every year who have in a wide array of STEM careers. This is an opportunity for the panelists to reflect and provide, share their stories and provide advice and life lessons on how they've gotten to where they are and their very different STEM career trajectories. This really helps scholars to become exposed to a wide array of STEM careers. So we're really excited to have that panel. After the panel, we're doing something different this year with our closing session. We're having an interactive closing session where scholars will have the opportunity to interact with facilitators who have booths in the area of STEAM, science communication, and also professional development. So for instance, in the professional development area, we're really excited to offer a career resume review. That's an interactive, short kind of session. We'll offer multiple rounds of this session. So if your scholars are interested in strengthening their resumes, we really want them to bring copies of the resume with them if they want to participate in this session. So please let your scholars know about that. And we'll also be sending emails about this. But this session is going to be really interesting and dynamic, where scholars have the opportunity to choose to go to booths and interact at short demo tables with different facilitators that we've invited to help us in facilitating this session. So another opportunity that we might assign some meeting mentors in is to help with the booth exhibitors in these interactive areas. If they've expressed that they would like extra hands help there, we will assign you. And your instructions, if you're assigned in this area, your instructions will be sent and directing you where to go and who your contact is. And again, we'll be offering professional headshots on this day as well. The next slide. So it's a really dynamic meeting, and we're so excited to host it. Again, you're probably familiar with this if you've attended past meetings, but the objectives of the meeting is really to help scholars boost their professional and career development, boost their awareness of diverse STEM careers, make them aware of opportunities, give them a chance to present their work through posters at the meeting, give them a chance to connect with one another, with other meeting mentors, and get their questions answered related to their careers and their academic planning. And of course, this year, since we're in San Diego, to experience the San Diego area. So I guess the most common question we get is sort of like, what is the point of meeting mentors? What do they do? What are they there for? And really it is to help scholars engage in the meeting and feel comfortable in the meeting. So we know that you're traveling with some of your scholars, but know that because there's so few of you and there's so many scholars coming who don't have a faculty member from their university joining them, they're sort of on their own. So we want you as meeting mentors to not only support your scholars, but really to support the scholars that you meet, all around you from all different universities, and provide a helping hand when needed. If you see a scholar who is lost or confused, just go up and introduce yourself or ask a question about a scholar, what their interests are, and really support them in these informal conversations and interactions, which might be short, but might be very, very meaningful and very inspiring to them. We encourage meeting mentors, if they would like to, connect with the scholars that they meet, not from their universities, to exchange emails or follow up with one another on Whova, so that they can, keep conversations going after the meeting as well. We've had some meeting mentors in the past report this to us, and it's wonderful that they've maintained connections with scholars that they've met from other universities. So thank you all for participating in this capacity. It's really meaningful. Next slide. Scholars who will be presenting posters will be assigned a session. So this will be all presented in the meeting app for those of you who have scholars who are wondering about their poster presentations. We have lots of resources for those presenting posters, including an FAQ document and a webinar recording from a webinar we did last year about preparing impactful poster presentations. So please direct your scholars to those resources. So sometimes we have you assigned to help with something which might conflict with one of your scholars' poster presentations. That's not a problem. Just send us an email and let us know. It's totally fine for you to step away from whatever we've assigned you to go check out and encourage your scholar's poster presentation and then just come back to it. So no worries about that. And next slide. So our meeting app this year, we're using Whova, which we're very excited about. We use this app in their first year in DC, and scholars really took to it, really engaged with it. We encourage you as meeting mentors to use it as well and to use it in different capacities. So, for those facilitating workshops, we've talked about how you can post your materials in there, but also just for chatting and connecting with other meeting mentors as well as other scholars. Please feel free to use this as a great communication tool. You will get an email next week on Monday, which will have information about how to download and log in. Just note that you must use the email associated with your registration in order to get into the app. Next slide. In addition to the Whova app, we're encouraging all STEM scholars to get connected with our STEM Scholars community, which we host on LinkedIn. So this is a way for scholars to maintain connections after the meeting is over and after they, no longer have access to the Whova app anymore. They can continue to talk with one another through LinkedIn. And also, we have an opportunity for scholars to engage even more by becoming one of our community catalysts. This will give them an opportunity to sort of be a champion and a leader in our STEM Scholars community, work more with AAAS staff, and also it'll give us a chance to highlight them as well so they can do scholar spotlights. I'm sure many of you have seen those posted on our website. So we're just so happy to engage with scholars who are looking for an extra engagement with AAAS. Please let them know about this opportunity. Next slide. Again, we want to encourage scaffolding of scholars in their networking and relationship building. So these are just some very basic general tips we have about networking. You're also welcome to join the webinar that we're hosting next week about honing your networking skills. I'm sure the tips are handy, not just for scholars, but for anybody who wants to grow in that area. But I think here we want you as a meeting mentor to really scaffold and provide structure in your interactions with scholars and maybe even like teach by example or help them, give them tips and guidelines. So this is just a few tips that we've included as well. Next slide. Okay, so now there's a whole bunch of travel logistics and reminders. I'm going to go through this very quickly so that we have enough time for any of the questions you have as meeting mentors. But feel free to put any of your questions in the chat related to logistics as well. We want to stress that if there's an issue with your flight or your train that you've booked through our Amex travel agency, we want all scholars and meeting mentors to have handy on them the Amex travel agency phone number. This way, if something comes up while you're traveling, you have that handy to call and to talk to the Amex travel agency. If something happens, for instance, like a flight is delayed, what happens is the Amex travel agency will rebook the travelers to the next flight automatically usually. So then that's not a problem. Then the travelers just need to go onto that later flight. But please know that contacting AAAS staff is not helpful because we don't handle any of the booking. That's our travel agency. Very, very important to know and please let your scholars know, AAAS cannot reimburse any flights that scholars then book on their own credit cards. So for instance, if their scholar's flight is canceled or or something happens and they miss their flight and they in a panic book a flight on their own credit card, we're not able to reimburse those costs. So please have your scholars, if something happens, reach out to the Amex travel agency to get their issue resolved, and do not put or book a new flight on their credit card, because given NSF funds, we can only reimburse one flight per traveler. And we've already paid for these flights that we've booked through the Amex travel agency. So please share that information, explain that with your scholars, and make sure they have the Amex travel agency handy, that phone number, in case something happens. The next slide. Also, as you're likely aware, all travelers need a Real ID compliant license or passport. Please make sure your scholars are aware of this and are set to travel. Local attendees who did not book through Amex, who are taking public transportation or driving, please know that you'll be submitting your reimbursements forms after the meeting, and my colleague Rachel will be there in person who can help you complete your reimbursement forms while you're at the meeting so that you're all set to go to submit those reimbursement forms right at the end of the meeting. Next slide. AAAS has booked hotel rooms for all travelers at this point. Each meeting mentor and scholar has received their own personal hotel room. Again, this is just a reminder of the location of our hotel and the name. The hotel has sent confirmation emails directly to every traveler. If you have not received a confirmation email, please, first of all, check your spam. Just check for Hyatt or, I think it's coming from the Hyatt email address, like a general Hyatt email address. Search that, see if it comes up. It might be in your spam. If you still can't find it, then please email ssteminitiative@AAAS.org, and we'll be able to double check that we do indeed have a hotel confirmation number for you. Thanks. And next slide. Hotel check-in is at 4. If you arrive earlier, you can go to the registration desk to see if your room is ready. That's just up to the hotel and their availability. If it's not ready, you can use the hotel bellhop to store your bag for free. Also, if you check in around our meeting time, like 1 o'clock or so, then and your hotel room is not ready, we will have available a room in our meeting space area where individuals can store luggage. But please know that that room is not attended and not locked. So please don't store any valuables in there. But if you just, you feel comfortable dropping your bag that doesn't have valuables in it there, you can do so. But we encourage you to use the bellhop for a secure bag location. Everyone must have a credit card to provide upon check-in. This is just standard hotel practice. If your scholars have any concerns about this, they don't have a credit card, have them come to the AAAS meeting registration desk, and one of our staff can provide assistance. What we do is go over with them, and we have a waiver that they'll sign so that they can use the AAAS credit card to check in, so that all scholars shouldn't have a problem with check-in, even if they don't have a credit card. Next slide. The meeting registration desk will be located in the harbor foyer. So that's a different location versus the main hotel check-in. Again, if you arrive around 1 p.m. or later, just come in to the meeting registration desk first, and then we will give out badges and direct people to the travel stipend card room so they can pick up their travel stipend. If you wanted to leave your bag in an area near the meeting rooms that's not attended, that option, like I said before, you could do so, or you can leave your bag at the bellhop if it's not ready. But yes, you can check in with the meeting registration desk first. If you're one of the individuals who are arriving earlier than October 2nd, if you're coming in the day before, just check in through the hotel lobby, because we will not, AAAS staff will not be able to, not be available until 1 p.m. on October 2nd for that registration desk. Next slide. Just a reminder, AAAS is not providing any ground transportation, so attendees are responsible for arranging and securing it themselves. So this includes transportation from their home to their local airport and from San Diego Airport to the hotel. It is possible to take public transportation from the airport, San Diego Airport to the hotel, but we've heard from locals that it's kind of cumbersome and the hotel's not that far from the airport. So rideshare is actually very convenient and pretty cheap. We encourage scholars to share ride shares to cut costs. But if you're curious about ground transportation, we do have a tip sheet that we can put in the chat that provides a lot of information about public transportation in San Diego. So the funds on the stipend card will cover or should cover round-trip ground transportation costs. Once individuals pick up a stipend card, they are not eligible to receive any additional reimbursement. So please tell your scholars to budget appropriately. There are $250 preloaded on these cards, and that is to be used for meals not provided at the meeting, luggage fees, if any, ground transportation, any other travel incidental costs. The cards are obtained at the meeting, so the thing is that scholars will need to pay upfront out of pocket for getting the ground transportation and getting to the hotel. But then once they get that card serves as a reimbursement for all of their travel costs. And next slide. These are the stipend cards again, $250 travel stipend card upon check-in. And I just talked about what it covers. Note that meals provided at the meeting include dinner on the first day, breakfast and lunch on the second day, and breakfast on the third day. We will have a local restaurant guide provided to you as well if you want to check out restaurants in the area. Next slide. Please note that all participants must have completed a Form W-9 prior to receiving a travel stipend card. So this means that we need all scholars and you who are receiving travel stipend cards to have completed and submitted a W-9 form prior to coming. So ideally, we want all of these W-9 forms to be in by the end of this week. Please ask your scholars if they've done this yet, and if not, please encourage them to do this week. This will just make the pickup of the travel stipend cards go so much more smoother, since all they'll need to do is have their ID ready and show their ID. We'll have everything we need. They can just check off, receive their card, and go. My colleagues have developed lots of resources here, including a helpful video that walks through how to complete the W-9 form. Please share that with your scholars if they're having questions. And one thing to note is that the funds in the card are for scholars to use as they see fit, and for you as well as mini mentors to see fit. If there's money left over on the card that's not used, those are yours to keep. But as I mentioned before, if you run out of funds on that card, you cannot submit for reimbursements after the meeting. And again, reimbursements for those driving, those not receiving a travel stipend card will be processed after the meeting, and my colleague Rachel will be there on site to help you complete those forms. Next slide. We hope this doesn't happen, but in the case where, an unforeseen circumstance or sick or something happens that makes either you or your scholar unable to attend the meeting, please complete this cancellation form as soon as possible. That allows us to be able to know that you're not coming, and then we would cancel the hotel and the flight. Please know that the flights are non-refundable and non-transferable. So with that, if something happens and you can't make it to the meeting, the traveler receives a credit in their name that could be used for up to a year from the date of travel to go to a scientific related meeting, including a AAAS meeting, but they would need to email us and get approval for using that credit and tell us about the circumstance in order to use it. But we really hope that this will not happen and all of you and your scholars will be able to attend the meeting. Next slide. We've created so many resources, including tip sheets. Again, all of the links in this slide deck are clickable. We encourage you to check that out and share this all with your scholars. Some of these contain really frequently asked questions, such as like, what's the dress code? What should we wear? We have a whole tip sheet on that. But in general, the dress is business casual. We do not want scholars to feel like they have to go out and buy a new outfit or buy a suit or something fancy. It's a very sort of relaxed. We want scholars to feel confident and professional. When we say on the tip sheet, we are sure that they have things in their closet that they can wear that is appropriate for the meeting. And we provide some examples in the tip sheet as well. We also have some tips for people who have never flown before, as I would say 90% or more of our scholars attending this meeting have never flown on a plane before. They've never traveled this far away from home. They've never traveled by themselves. So we try to provide as much information and advice to help scholars feel comfortable and confident in attending. And we really hope that you also support them and answer their questions, as I know you have been and continue to do so throughout the meeting as they engage in the meeting, for not only them, but also for other scholars that you meet while you're at the meeting as well. So thank you again for providing such great support to scholars. Next slide. Along with tip sheets, we have some videos. Again, I want to highlight the filling out the W-9 form. That's, I think, our most popular video. And Rachel did a great job of walking scholars through what they need to do to complete and submit that form. Next slide. Okay, we are ready to answer all of your questions. I'm going to turn to my colleague Rachel to help us facilitate the Q&A portion. Thank you so much for writing your questions in the chat this whole time. And if anybody would like to give voice, just use the raise your hand function and we can call on you.
Thank you, Tara. The first question is, do mentors get a stipend card as well as scholars?
Yes, they do. So with the generous funding from the National Science Foundation, we are able to cover all attendees' travel costs, which includes the reimbursement. So if you have booked your flight or your train through our Amex travel agency, you are eligible to receive a stipend card. However, if you're local or you're driving or carpooling, then you're not eligible to get a stipend card, and you'll have to submit forms for reimbursement.
Thanks, Tara. Another really great question that was submitted before today's meeting is, will there be time to speak with other STEM mentors or program officers from NSF at the meeting?
So yes, I highlighted the meeting mentor information session on I believe it's 5 o'clock to 6:30 on the second day. We really encourage you to attend that, because that is the only session that we have for meeting mentors only, for you to mix and mingle and talk with one another and learn about a great program that supports STEM-PIs. So there's that opportunity, but we want to encourage you all to interact and talk with one another in person at the meeting, as well as use the Whova app to talk with one another and connect. And the question about program officers, that's a good one. NSF travel funding, as you're likely aware, has not been at its full capacity. So there won't be a lot of program officers able to attend in San Diego. We will have likely the 2 primary program officers, though that hasn't yet been confirmed. So you are not likely to see many program officers at the meeting, but we encourage you to connect with one another as meeting mentors.
Thank you, Tara. Another really great question that I would love for you to maybe expand on a little bit more, and different ways we've done this in the past. But outside of our assigned role or time slot commitments, are there particular events that could benefit from an extra hand? For example, poster sessions or meals or something like that. Or should we just attend events and be prepared to engage in spontaneous interactions with the scholars?
I think both. I think it's whenever you feel or see an opportunity to help a scholar, that's the biggest thing. We really want you to participate in the meeting as much as you can, as much as possible, including those sessions that you're not assigned to doing something. we've found that meeting mentors have really enjoyed doing so. They found it to be really fun as well as really exciting for them because, for instance, if you're not facilitating a workshop, you can go to other workshops and then you can observe like what that facilitator is doing, get tips and ideas from other meeting mentors carrying out different activities. So yes, please engage in the meeting to the fullest, even though technically the programming is not designed for you, it's designed for the scholars. But please engage and please help all of the scholars along the way. We say treat all of the scholars as your own scholar. Um, yeah, so just please engage and support scholars as needed. I think especially the poster sessions, that's a great point because we haven't assigned people to help with poster sessions necessarily because we found that scholars very easily just go to their number at their certain time and present. But we encourage all of you to, like, if you're interested, walk around, see as many posters, presentations as you can, and just provide encouragement, ask questions, give tips and advice, highlight things that they explained really well or did really well. Like, yes, feel free to provide those sort of informal teaching moments as much as you'd like. That'd be great.
Thank you, Tara. Another question, which is a really, really good question that we don't often answer. I saw in the original description that we were to help scholars also experience the San Diego area. What time slots would that be in if, if this question asker is recalling this correctly?
So that's sort of a general area of help that we've put out there. The biggest time slot is going to be that 4:30 after 4:30 session where it's explore the city on your own. We encourage, a lot of times meeting mentors will have arranged like to get dinner with their scholars at that time. And we encourage you to not only have your scholars, arrange with your scholars, but see if your scholars have made friends or connected with other scholars who don't have meeting mentors and invite them to come as well. That's great. So that applies to dinner, or if you plan to go somewhere to see something or do an activity outside of the meeting, please be open to having not only your scholars, but their friends and other people that they've met along the way come with the group. Other chances to engage include times before the programming starts and after the programming ends. This all depends on everybody's flights, and everybody has different travel times for their flights. But I know that the schedule is pretty packed. So when there are windows of opportunities to engage with scholars outside of programming, just please expand it to not only your scholars, but the scholars in attendance.
Thank you, Tara. I'm also typing the answer to this question, but it's a really good question, so I'd like to also ask it out loud. Can scholars still sign up for the poster session? And is there going to be a list of who is signed up?
So in the Whova app, there will be a list of all of the posters, all of the assigned times and number slots. And unfortunately, we have done the poster submissions in advance. And with that, we've accepted all of the posters that we have space for. So there's not an opportunity for those who did not submit an abstract just to come and bring their poster and present it. We just wouldn't have a spot for them since we've given all of the spots away as assignments to those who submitted a abstract previously. So I would just say next year, please make sure your students, if they want to present a poster, that they submit their abstract by the deadline, because as you can imagine, there's just so much logistics to coordinate, and coordinating all of the poster presenter time slots and spaces is one of them. So we can't just accept walk-up presenters there.
Thank you, Tara. Another one that you did answer, but it was submitted before we did the presentation today that I'd like to just point out one more time, is what is the expected dress style for mentors and scholars? Especially because, some people might not have a full suit or something like that.
Exactly. So we are very much aware that STEM scholars are from under-resourced backgrounds, and we don't want to put financial strain on them or pressure that they need to buy an expensive outfit or suit or anything. So the dress code is business casual. Though, that's a pretty loose term. We just want scholars to feel comfortable and look professional and engage in the meeting. And, we've given examples in our tip sheets of potential things they could wear that commonly are found in their closets so that they don't have to feel pressure to buy something new. So it's the same with meeting mentors too. Business casual is totally fine. I would say check out our tip sheet for more examples and information there.
Great, thank you, Tara. I'm going to ask this one out loud. I'm also going to put the FAQ doc in the chat to make it easier. But this question is, students are asking what size the poster should be and having questions if they are able to carry it on airlines. And as a follow-up answer to the next question, yes, we did share them with the students as well.
Yeah. So thank you for reiterating all of the information that we're sharing, because as you know, like, you can send the email, but it doesn't mean that they read it. So thank you for engaging them in other ways and other forms and asking questions and making sure they're prepared. The poster size is the maximum dimensions are 4 foot by 4 foot. Less than that in either of those dimensions is fine. We just have it that way because that's the size of our poster boards, and the posters will be hung side by side. So that's the maximum size that 2 posters side by side can fit without overlapping. We don't want scholars to have posters that are so big they overlap and obstruct the poster next to them. Posters can be hung either landscape or, width-wise. That's up to them. The materials, we've seen both traditional poster paper printed used, as well as more recently, there's been a lot more of the fabric posters printed, which is pretty cool because they can just fold the fabric up and put it in their suitcase. But for those who are doing the traditional poster, please help them with printing the poster. Well, in both cases, please help them with printing the posters. And for the traditional paper, help them with securing a poster tube and making sure they understand that they have to carry the poster with them on the plane, so that not to check it, bring it with them as a carry-on, put it in their overhead bin, things like that. So we really are appreciative of you guiding scholars in these important small details that they might have never thought about before. So yeah, so they would need to print and bring their poster either in a tube with them on the plane, or if they're printing on fabric, they can just put it in their suitcase.
Thank you, Tara. And a follow-up question, will we provide pins or should they bring pins?
Good question. So we will have the board and the pins, so no worry about pins. They just need to bring the posters.
Great, thank you. That's all the questions I have right now. So I'll leave a few minutes in case anyone has any other questions. And if you would like to come off mute and ask your question, you're able to do that as well.
Hello, this is Patricia Opong with Columbus State. I may have missed this, but how much is the stipend cards for the students versus the faculty?
Yeah, thanks, Patricia. It's actually $250 flat, so you'll both get that. There are some cases where people have been pre-approved for coming in earlier because of distance and they have a little bit extra, but the flat fee is $250.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what it's been before. I just want to check. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes, this is a good one. And team, if we could find the link for that. There is a link for signing up for the professional headshots. The scholars were emailed the link probably last week, right, Tara? And directions on how to sign up. But we'll find that link right now.
Jones from
And also, if they didn't sign up, it's okay. They can do a walk-up, but it's just signing up will guarantee that they will get their headshot done. So we encourage it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt before. I just so I came in a little late because I was teaching. So is it just that the one dinner that we're on our own for on that second day that we take our students and other students to somewhere close by and eat? Is that correct?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct. So
great.
we provide, we have the registration desk open at 1 p.m. the first day. We provide dinner that night, and then we provide breakfast and lunch the second day, dinner on your own, and then breakfast the final day. And then we adjourn at about 11 o'clock.
Right. Okay, and then sorry, one more question you might have said too. Is the hotel within walking distance to where the meeting is?
Oh, good question. That actually the meeting is in the hotel.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm. Yeah,
So yes.
we've tried to minimize, those logistics as much as we can over the years.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Any other questions for our last couple minutes together? Okay. Thank you all. Tara, I'm going to hand it back to you to close us out. And if there are any other questions, you can put them in the chat for the next few minutes, or you can email us and I'd be happy to get back to you.
Yeah, we've been really great at emailing responses to questions as they come in as soon as we can. So our email address is ssteminitiative@AAAS.org. If you think of anything after this meeting that you wish you would have asked, happy to answer that over email. So please provide your feedback. We're always open to feedback, and we truly do use it to improve our activities as we go. This is a survey link and a QR code you can use, but also as soon as you close out of Zoom, the one question survey is going to automatically pop up. So thanks in advance for providing your thoughts and feedback. Please stay connected with us. If you're not already part of our LinkedIn community, please follow us there, as well as we have a new account on Blue Sky. We welcome you to follow us there as well. The hashtag we'll be using for the meeting is hashtag STEM2025. We encourage you and your scholars to post pictures and, share insights and just tag us there. It makes it easier for us to find that. And we love hearing and seeing all of the pictures and all of, seeing how meaningful this meeting is for them. As you can imagine, it's so much work and logistics behind the scenes to coordinate everything for everyone and get everything paid and do all of the hand holding and facilitating that we do for everybody. But in the end, it is so worth it. It is so fulfilling. This meeting can be a life-changing experience for many of our scholars in multiple ways, giving them confidence to, not only pursue different pathways in STEM, learn about different pathways in STEM, learn about opportunities that potentially could be life-changing for them, connect with other scholars and other faculty members that they could have meaningful relationships beyond the meeting. And, it's so wonderful. It builds their confidence and we really love it. We love how it builds a sense of community amongst the STEM scholars and the STEM PIs and meeting mentors as well. So thank you so much for all of your work in supporting your scholars throughout the year, as well as supporting them to attend and fully engage in this meeting. We're very appreciative. We're so happy to work and partner with you in this area. So please stay connected with us. We're so, so excited to see you and your scholars in San Diego in, I don't even want to count the days. It makes me nervous, but soon. And it's going to be a great time and a great celebration of the STEM scholars. So thank you so much for participating as a meeting mentor. Please be on the lookout for those emails that we're sending next week with all of your assignments. And feel free to reply to those emails with any questions you have, as well as to send general inquiries to our ssteminitiative@AAAS.org email address. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your day.